Following the United States, other NATO member nations have now begun suffering battlefield losses, as the Iran war widens into a dangerous regional confrontation. French President Emmanuel Macron has reportedly been left stunned and angered after French soldiers were killed and wounded in operations near Iran's borders. This follows earlier assaults on British and Italian forward bases in the region, and now French troops, too, are paying the price. As the toll rises across Europe's allied forces, a growing question looms over Western capitals. Will the entire West be forced to bear the cost of a war driven by the aggressive ambitions of Trump and Netanyahu? A deadly drone strike on March 12 claimed the life of one French soldier and left 5 others wounded in Iraq's Kurdish region, adding a tragic new chapter to the escalating Iran-linked tensions gripping the Middle East. According to the Times of Israel, the French troops have been participating in a joint anti-terror training mission with their Iraqi counterparts when the drone struck without warning, shattering the calm of their exercise. The incident unfolded only hours after an Italian military base in the same area was also attacked, Reuters reported, signaling a coordinated pattern of strikes directed at Western coalition targets. Overnight, the Italian installation hosting NATO personnel came under drone fire, intensifying fears that Allied forces are now being deliberately drawn deeper into a conflict spiraling far beyond its original scope. Just days earlier, a similar drone assault had targeted a British military base in Cyprus, raising alarm that Western forces across the region are increasingly vulnerable amid the fast-expanding Iran war. France currently maintains several hundred soldiers stationed in Erbil as part of the international coalition, operating under joint command to bolster local stability and counter extremist networks. Both French and Italian contingents in Erbil serve under the umbrella of the US-led mission known as Operation Inherent Resolve, a coalition formed to combat terrorism and secure post-ISIS Iraq. The primary mandate of this coalition remains the eradication of ISIS-aligned cells that continue to operate in the shadows, posing a persistent threat to regional and global security. Reuters noted that the origin of the drone attack on French forces has not been conclusively determined, though intelligence suggests hostile activity linked to Iranian-backed militias. In recent days, pro-Iran armed groups across Iraq have intensified a series of drone and missile strikes, testing coalition defenses and amplifying calls for stronger regional security measures. The wounded French soldiers were immediately evacuated and transported to the nearest military medical facility, where they are receiving emergency treatment, according to preliminary field reports. French President Emmanuel Macron condemned the attack in the strongest terms, expressing his outrage and vowing that France would stand firm alongside its partners in the face of rising regional aggression. The French president said, quote, Chief Warrant Officer Arnaud Frion of the 7th Battalion of Chasseurs Alpins from Varses died for France during an attack in the Erbil region of Iraq. To his family, to his brothers in arms, I want to express all the affection and solidarity of the nation. Several of our soldiers have been wounded. France stands by their side and with their loved ones. This attack against our forces engaged in the fight against Daesh since 2015 is unacceptable. Their presence in Iraq is part of the strict framework of the fight against terrorism. The war in Iran cannot justify such attacks, unquote. The deadly attack on French forces comes amid a full-scale regional war now raging between Iran on one side and the combined military might of the United States and Israel on the other, a conflict reshaping the entire Middle East. The confrontation erupted after Washington and Tel Aviv jointly launched an extensive military operation against Iran on February 28, an assault that reportedly resulted in the killing of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. In the days that followed, his son and chosen successor, Mojtaba Khamenei, assumed command and on March 12 released his first official address as the new leader of the Islamic Republic, setting a defiant tone against the West. Mojtaba Khamenei vowed to continue the fight against both the United States and Israel, warning former President Donald Trump directly to shut down all American military bases across the Middle East or face further retaliation. Meanwhile, France, now facing its own military casualties in the conflict, has begun deploying additional naval combat vessels in the eastern Mediterranean Sea and potentially toward the Strait of Hormuz to safeguard its assets.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
the fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.